Hello, welcome back to Statistics and Mathematics YouTube channel. Today we are going to continue a series of videos on conditional probability distribution. Specifically on the slides is what conditional distribution for continuous random variable. But in other terms, we can say it as conditional probability density function for bivariate continuous random variables. Okay, so here all that we are trying to say is that let's assume our joint probability density function is being given to us, right, of which the random variables x and y are what? Continuous. Okay, if we are asked to calculate for the conditional probability function of x given y, how are you going to express this? So if in case exams you see it that way, it's what? Conditional probability function of what? X. So the x will come first, the given will be the slash, giving what? Y, right? Giving y. And then this one can be expressed as probability of what? The joint probability function of x and y divided by what? The marginal of y. Okay, yes. And then an alternative way to also do this one, right? We have an alternative way. If we interchange the x and y, we are also going to get the conditional probability function of what? Y given x, which can be what? Written as conditional probability of what? Y given what? X. This two can be expressed as what? The joint of x and y divided by what? Marginal of what? X, since the given of x was what? Here. So that is how both of them can be what? Expressed. And then here is what? Comma, right? Okay, because it's just giving us a condition that always strictly, right, our f of y must be greater than 0, and then strictly our f of x must also be greater than what? 0. So that is what we are going to have for both the marginal of what? X and the marginal of what? Y. So we being understanding this one, let's solve some questions to better understand it very well. Okay, so here we said that a random variables x and y have a joint probability density function given by, right, and the joint probability density for x and y is given as 8 times x times y on the limit of 0 less than s less than 1 y and the less than what? 1. And we are saying that the conditional probability density function of x and y, right, that is what we are being asked to find, the conditional probability density function for both what? X and then y. So how are we going to solve that one too? Already in our previous section on the continuous bivariate random variable and then the marginal probability density function, right, for that bivariate, I've already treated that one. And then within that topic we had a question like this, and then we learn how to calculate for what? The marginals for both x and then y. We learn how to calculate for that one. So for this one I'm not really going to solve it, right? I have the solution there. So for this one, the marginal for x for this particular question is what? 4x bracket open 1 minus x squared, right? And the marginal of y for that question is what? 4y raised to the power 3. And then the x and the y you see here is both the limit for both the marginal of x and the marginal of what? Y. And then the question says that we should find the conditional expectation for x given y, right, of x given y. So for that one we have already just discussed it. We are going to get joint of x comma y divided by x, right, the marginal of what? X. And then the joint of x and y2 is given as what? 8xy. And then the marginal of x2 is just giving us, sorry, here is y, marginal of y, I'm sorry. So marginal of y is giving us 4y what? Cube. That is what we have here. And if you do it very well, we are going to get 2x divided by y squared on the limit of 0 less than x less than y less than 1. Okay, and then the marginal of what? Y given x can also be expressed as the joint of x and y divided by marginal of x, of which when you do it very well we are going to get this one. Okay, so that is how we can calculate for what? The marginals for, sorry, the conditional probability for both x and y pertaining to that question. Okay, let's continue. So we have another question here. It said a random vector x and y has the PDF given by f of x y, that is the joint PDF, is being given as 1/3 bracket open x plus y on the limit 0 less than x less than 1 comma 0 less than y less than 2. That is the limit being given to us. Okay, the first question says that find the marginal and then conditional probability density function of x and then y. That is what we have been asked to calculate for. And then the second sub question is saying that we should find the probability that our y is less than 1 over 2 and our x is equal to 4. And then the III says that we should find the probability that our x is less than 1 over 4 and our y, given that our y is equal to 1. So that is what we have been asked to calculate for, right? So let's tackle the first one, and when we are done, we will do that one for the second one. Okay, so we have been asked to calculate for the marginal of x and marginal of y, and then we know that for marginal of x, we are just going to integrate on y, and then we know our limit for y will be at 0 to 2 of the joint PDF, that's 1 over 3 x plus y dy. So when we integrate this, we are going to get a function in terms of what? X. Okay, and then for marginal of y, we are going to integrate on what? X, right, of the joint 1 over 3 x plus y dx. And when we integrate, we get a function in terms of what? Y. Okay, yes. So let's come to the solution sheet. When we integrate this, we are going to get 2 over 3 x plus 1. Okay, 2 over 3 x plus 1 on this particular limit. And for marginal of y, we are going to integrate moving from 0 to 1, 1 over 3 x plus y dx. And then we are going to get 1 over 3, 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 plus y on the limit of 0 and 1. Okay, so once you have been able to get our marginals, that is half part of the question. So the full part is saying that we should calculate for the marginal probability of what? X and then y. The second question says we should find the conditional probability of what? X given y, and the conditional probability of y given x. That is what the question has told us to do. And then we know that for the conditional probability, we learn that f of x given y is giving us what? The joint of f of x, f of x comma y divided by the marginal of what? Y. We know that our joint here was given in the question, right, to be 1 over 3, as you can see here, 1 over 3 x plus y. And then our marginal of y, as you can see here, has been calculated for, and then that one too is 1 over 3 bracket open 1 over 2 plus y. So we are going to just divide this one by that, and then when you do that, we are going to get 2 bracket open s plus y divided by 1 plus 2y, right, on this particular limit. Okay, so that is the conditional probability of x given y, and the conditional probability of y given x is being given as 1 over 3 s plus y divided by, so that one too is what? Just the joint of x and y divided by the marginal of x. And then already we know our marginal of x to be what? We know our marginal of x to be 2 divided by 3 s plus y. And then once we divide the marginal by the joint, we are getting x plus y divided by 2 s plus 1. Okay, on that particular limit. So we have paid justice to the first question. The second question is telling us to find the we should calculate or find the probability that our y is less than 1 over 2 given our x is equal to 1 over 4. Okay, that's the second question. So here, this is what we have been asked to calculate it for. Okay, so as you can see here, we should just first ignore we should just ignore the half. We should just ignore the half, and then our x is equal to 1 over 4. Okay, yeah, let's just ignore it. So once you ignore it, we are going to get p y given what? X, which will be given as probability of y comma what? X divided by probability of what? X. That is what we are going to get. So either you use the p or use what? The f, right? We use the p or we either use what? The f. Okay, so already we have been able to calculate for that one the marginal probability of what? Y given x, and then we had this expression. Okay, and then we got our final answer to what? This one. We got our final answer to be this one. So all that you are going to do is just substitute in our x and then integrate it on half. We are substituting our x inside. That means that wherever we see our x, we are going to put our x is equal to 1 over 4. Okay, so everywhere you see x here, you put 1 over 4 there, right? that means that our x here was fixed. It means that our x is equal to 1 over 4. It is fixed, it doesn't vary. But when we come to our y here, our y varies. That's the main reason why we are going to integrate, right? So here, when we come here, everywhere we see our x, we are going to substitute what? 1 over 4 inside. Okay, that is the reason why when we come here, we get 1 over 4 plus y divided by 2 bracket open 1 over 4 plus 1. Okay, so that's the main reason why we had this expression. And then we are integrating it on half. Why? Because our y varies, so it will move from 0 to half, right? And then if you do the integration very well, right, if you do the integration very well, we're going to get 2 over 5 bracket open of y divided by 4, right? Bracket open of y divided by 4 plus y squared, okay, divided by 2 on the limit of what? 0 to half, and our final answer will give us what? 1 over what? 10, right? That will be our final answer, 1 over 10. So for the second question, that also says that you calculate for probability, the conditional probability that our x is less than 1 over 4 and y is equal to 1. Okay, for this one too, you should just assume that our 1 over 4 and 1 is not given to us. So we have this one, probability that conditional probability of x giving what? Y, which can be expressed as what? Comma y divided by f of y. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, and already this has been already been calculated for, right? X giving y, we had this one. Okay, we had this result. So all that we are going to do is just to substitute anywhere we see y, we are going to put our y is equal to 1. Okay, so when we come here, that's the reason why you see that we have 2 bracket open s plus 1. Initially here was okay, s plus 1 all divided by 1 plus what? 2 times what? 1. Okay, so that is what we have here. And then we are going to integrate it on 0 to what? 1 over 4. Since here was less than, it varies, and then it's raising between what? 0 to 1 over 4. So here we are going to integrate on what? 0 to 1 over 4 the x, and then what we are going to get here is what? 3 divided by what? 16. Okay, 3 divided by what? 16 will be our final what? Answer. Okay, yes. So this is Statistics and Mathematics YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe, like and share, so that this video will get to your friends, for them to also understand the concept of what? Conditional probabilities. Okay, yes, bye, have a lovely day.